Good morning and welcome to Gentle Yoga with Tanya. I'm Tanya, and today I'm going to be taking you through some poses to just allow your body to stretch and just feel really good. A couple things before we get started. I do have a blanket with me. I will be using this today. I like to sit on it sometimes when we are doing some nice stretches. As we are seated, it lifts your hips up in a really great position and allows for a really nice, safe position for your body. We are also going to be doing some standing poses, so if transitioning from seated to standing is sometimes a little bit of a challenge, you may want to have a solid chair nearby, blocks, a wall, maybe a friend or two in the area that can help you up. So just a couple things to keep in mind as we go through our practice today. So let's begin. My shoulders are down, my jaw is relaxed, and I'm just going to breathe. You can even put your hand to your belly and notice that nice movement outward on the inhale, inward on the exhale. You can let your head drop a little bit if you wish. Just taking note of the movement of your breath and the sound. And as you're breathing and noticing, think about your shoulders. Do you feel them rise as well on the inhale? And if so, you may want to just really concentrate on making that breath lower. Letting it come from the diaphragm. Or, 75% of it coming from the diaphragm. And as you're breathing, allow your mind to think of your intent for class today. Maybe it's a word or a couple of words, a phrase, a feeling, or a goal. Something that might inform your movements, might inform your emotions, or might be something to think about when we're all done, how you feel. For me, there are two words this week as we breathe in and out that have been coming to mind. Ease and surrender. So we greet our poses with an ease as we move into them and an ease as we move out of them, right? No stress or strain. And then when we're in the pose, this idea of just surrendering to how that pose feels and to just letting it just completely envelop you with its benefits. So breathing here, a couple more breaths as you think of those words. You can use the ones I'm thinking, or you can find your own breathing here. And now let's bring our hands together, bring some warmth into our hands. Just get a nice little rub here so that when we touch the back of our neck, in a second here, if your hands tend to be a little cooler like mine, your body doesn't, I'm also just preparing. Okay, get a little nice little warmth, bring your hands here and very gently from the base of your skull down to the tops of your shoulders. And it's not a deep touch here, it's not a deep massage at all that we're doing, it's just a very light pulse and release. See how very steady that is? That's the feeling that you want. We want to just start to wake up our system here and begin the process of just releasing. And remember, approach this with an ease. In and out goes your breath. Very nice. And if having your arms up this far is not comfortable, you can approach it from here too if you'd like. That's okay too. And shake that out a little bit. Nice. And then let's take your right hand. I'm not going to mirror you on this one. So take your right hand, cross it over, and if you're comfortable reaching back towards your shoulder blade back there, just do some gentle squeezes and releases there. If that's too far, if that range of motion is not your thing today, that's okay too. Just kind of keep it in this area or wherever you can. But if you can go back a little farther, let's do that. And this is one where I realize that sometimes I am holding my breath. So please make sure that you are having that nice, steady inhalation and exhalation as you give yourself a massage. We're multitaskers here, really. In a very easy way, though. Right? All right, let's go to the other side. And same rules apply here. If you can, go back a little further and give yourself this nice little release back towards your shoulder blade and behind your shoulder. That's great. But if a little more up front is your thing, that's great too. Very nice. Good job. Shake that out. Let's do some more breathing. We're going to do our joy breath cycle because it always brings me joy. So you're going to clasp your hands, take a nice deep breath in. Let your chin rest like, right? A little Shirley Temple action here. Breathing in. And as you exhale, you want to let your hands come forward, let your chin come to your chest. I'm also squeezing my abs here and squeezing my glutes here to exhale completely. And then inhale. If it's okay for you to go all the way up, let your arms come up. And then exhale. This is a nice, slow, luxurious exhale here, my friends. And you can let your hands rest here, or if you still have a little bit left in there, you can reach your hands behind your back, give an extra little squeeze. And then inhale, hands forward. Exhale to your heart center. And that's our cycle. So let's inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Shoulders down and separated, and then that long, slow exhale. Squeezing behind if you can. Inhale. And exhale. Again. Inhale. Nice. Exhale. Go ahead and do 2 more at your own pace. I'm going to do 1 more cycle. Depending on where you are, you can do 1 more as well. Inhale. Beautiful. Well done. We are going to move into cat-cow. I'm going to do it traditionally from table position. If you'd like to do it here from seated, great. It's just, this is your action. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, inhale. And we are going to add a little bit of a twist to our child's pose, which we're going to go into after cat-cow. So if you are doing seated cat-cow, then and twisting from child's pose is not your thing, you can do this. Okay, so I'll remind you of that when we get there. Just wanted to give you a heads up. So if you're doing seated cat-cow, stay seated. If you are joining me in the traditional version, then please do so. We're going to start on an exhale, tucking everything down. And then inhale all the way through. And then exhale, tucking. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, neutral. And then come back. And we are going to go back to that one in a second as a reset. But for now, we're going to do a little wide leg child's pose. Sometimes I've heard it called tadpole, frog, but wide leg. So that means I'm sitting back on my heels, my big toes are together, my knees are out on the mat, and I'm just going to go down into child's pose. And I will say this. If you need a little bit of extra support, I do have my big old pillow here, and you could always just rest here like this. If that feels better for you, if you need that, great. Or you can put a little something behind your knees. If your knees do feel a little bit tender in this pose, you can give them a little extra cushion back there too. But if you can, go all the way down. Go ahead. My hands are right here at my sides. You can also let them relax here, or you can give them a little stretch. Forehead to the mat, and we're just going to breathe here. And this is where we really think about our word surrender. We notice how everything feels, how our breath feels, and then just let that be our guide. Let your body just ease into this pose and surrender to it. The sensations, the breath. And we're going to stay here a little longer. You might be noticing some sensations on your inner thighs. Really taking our time in our poses today. Noticing the sensation of the inhale and the exhale. And then let's start to turn your body a little bit to the right for just a tiny twist here. Just walk your fingers over to the right. You can keep your head in the same, forehead on the mat. And just only go as far as you feel comfortable. Just getting a little mini twist here. Breathing here. Just a couple of breaths. New sensations to take note of. To notice. Couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, come back to center. And you can either lift your head up and come back, or you can just kind of continue as you were. Breathing one breath here. And then walk your hands to the other side, twisting towards your left. And noticing how this one feels, where you're feeling that sensation, where you're feeling that elongation. How deep can you go safely? No stress, no strain, just a nice little stretch. So if you were doing seated cat-cow and you continued in that way, you would just be twisting to your left now as you're sitting up. One more breath here. And make your way back to the center. A nice stabilizing breath here. And on your next inhale, very, very carefully and with ease, come all the way back up. Make sure that your head is the last thing to come up. Reset those shoulders. Yes, that felt so good. All right, we are going to do a little reset here with cat-cow. So come back on your hands and knees. We're going to just exhale, just a couple. Inhale. Exhale. Nice and slow and easy here. No rush. Really feeling that stretch in the lower back, and then exhale. And then inhale to neutral. We're going to do a little bit of a different stretch here, just a little bit of a lunge. We'll call it dragon. So take your right foot and you're just going to step it through. Okay? And you want to make sure that you're in a nice position here, so you're not too far extended or too far back. That back leg, you can stretch as far as you want, or you can keep it here. This is your comfort level. The tops of my feet are flat on and my back foot are flat on the mat. And my hands, you can either rest alongside your right foot, or you can bring up here looking forward. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. So if you need the support, you can do here, or if you're more comfortable here and you want to hold a wall, totally fine. Whatever works for you. Breathing here. nice and steady, and you want to feel like you're doing that nice pelvic tilt here to keep your body in a good position, but you do want to also get that really great stretch all through here. So breathing here, nice and easy. If your hands are on the floor, you can release the neck if it's okay for you. Just increasing that stretch, and you can adjust your feet as needed. Sinking and surrendering into this pose. Noticing the sensations. If you're noticing something other than a sweet discomfort, an actual pain, then with ease, with a gentleness, but as quickly as you can, you do want to get out of the pose. We don't want to ever feel pain. So let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, and then slowly release. Just bringing your leg back. Go ahead and have a seat. Let's do some rolls. Just readjusting a little bit. Some nice shoulder rolls here. You can roll the hands. We've been on them for a little bit. Let's give them a nice little, some attention, and you can switch directions. The other thing that you can do before we go to the other side is if you were feeling any kind of discomfort in that back leg, like in the knee area, you can put a little, just a little blanket or something underneath there to give yourself a little cushion if you want. So that's something to think about as we move into our left side. So let's come into table. You want to bring that left foot forward. And again, you want to make sure you're in nice alignment here. And then just letting your body stretch as it feels right for you, keeping that top of your foot flat on the mat. And you can hands down and release completely. Or if you prefer, you can be upright like this, or holding onto a wall. Your choice, whatever feels right for you. And keep in mind, this side may feel very different than your other side did. That's totally expected and okay. So just know that what you do on this side may look and feel very different than what you did on the other side. So breathing here. Just allowing your body to sink in. And if you're down here and you feel like you're stressing up like this, just let those hands surrender. You can even turn them this way so that you're not putting any pressure on them. It's a nice reminder that you don't need to put any pressure on your hands. The stretch is all here in the legs. Feels really good too, I'm not gonna lie. We might hang here an extra breath because this feels so good. Breathing here nice and steady. One more breath. And then slowly release it. You can straighten that leg or bend it back. Oh, that feels so good. All right, we are going to come down all the way onto your bellies. So however that feels good for you. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose to get a nice little stretch here along our back. Okay, So I have my elbows pretty close in, but a little bit in front of, if that makes sense. So you might want to start them back here right by your chest and then just move them forward until your elbow is in line with your shoulder. Okay, and then from here, you want your legs to be nice and relaxed, and you can have your feet close together or farther apart, however it feels good for you. Hands, nice wide base here, nice spread of those fingers. You're going to breathe in and just come up. And my chin is in a fairly neutral position. If that does not feel right for you, you can let it bend a little bit more, and that's totally fine. If up like this is not good, just give it a little bit of a bend. But whatever you're doing, breathe. Right? And from this position, the cool thing about our breath is that you might notice on the inhale, your belly in the mat, how that feels against the mat. It's a great breathing check here. As you breathe in, how does that feel when it comes into contact with the mat? And you want to make sure that your shoulders are away from your ears, that you're not sinking into it like this. If you feel like you're doing this, you want to just give yourself a nice little reset here. Nice deep breaths. Legs are relaxed. And just noticing and surrendering. Couple more breaths here. And on your next exhale, just turn your palms. You're going to make a nice little pillow for your head here. Let your head rest and go ahead and bring that left knee up a little bit. You might actually, if you make this sound, that's not a bad thing. This feels really good. This is a really simple, easy stretch to do after you've done a pose like Sphinx. And just breathing here for just a little bit. And of course, you can turn your head to the side if that feels better for you. I like in this one to have my neck here. Couple more breaths on this side, and then we're going to switch and go to the other side. Very nice. And let's release that leg. And then bring up your right leg for a nice little stretch on that side. And again, you can turn your head if you want, or you can keep it here. You choose. And then just gently release that pose. So to get back up to a seated position, you can just come on up like this. Or if you're not feeling particularly like doing that today, you can kind of just come up in any way that feels safe and good for you. And now I am going to use my larger folded blanket for this one. I like it to elevate my hips a little bit when I'm doing this stretch. It feels a lot more comfortable for me. I feel like I get a deeper stretch, and it keeps my body in a really nice, safe position without too much stress or strain. So if you would like to take a second and get that blanket, now would be a good time to do that. We are going to stretch those legs out only as far as is comfortable for you. It doesn't need to be splayed side to side. Mine is fairly neutral here. You can bring them in a little if you want. I do flex my feet just to sort of protect my knee muscles here. And if you do have some tender knees, you can bend, or you can put something underneath. That's fine too. We're just going to do a little wide leg forward fold. Okay, so let's breathe in here. And as we exhale, just let your body scoop forward a little bit. And then inhale, bring it back up. We're going to do that 2 more times. And one of the reasons I like to do that a couple times is so that you can start to notice how this might feel when you get into the full stretch. So you can start to adjust a little. Do you need to move your hips back? Do you need to move them forward? Is the blanket maybe not comfortable? Like, it gives your body the opportunity to tell you how it might feel in this pose. So let's do that again. Breathing in here. And then exhale, just forward a little bit. Making any adjustments you need to. This is really just a beautiful stretch. You can probably feel it on your inner thigh. You'll feel it along the back side here, along your hammies. It's just a really lovely, lovely stretch here. So inhale up and then exhale forward last time. And I'm going to slide my hands up so that I'm not engaging my arms. 2 choices. You can completely release, or if that puts a lot of strain here and it doesn't feel good, you can keep you don't have to fold. You can keep your back a little straighter and make that nice line here with your neck, okay? So whatever feels great for you is how you should do this, okay? We want to make sure that we're not causing any extra stress or strain in areas. So just notice how it feels when you go over. And if you want to fold completely, great. And how far out your hands go is totally your call. You want to make sure that your toes are up, that there's not a lean in there. You want to make sure that they're nice and easy. And just relaxing here. Notice if feel your body maybe even going more towards the floor as you surrender to this pose, as you allow this pose to just encompass your entire being here. Noticing the stretch, noticing where it feels like the tightness might be giving way. Couple more breaths here. And on your next inhale, let's very gently walk those hands back towards your center, allowing your head to be the very last thing to come up. Do that lovely shoulder reset. Very nice. We're going to do one more down here on the floor, then we're going to go to some little bit of standing action, and then back down for our breathing and our Shavasana. Okay, so this one, I'm going to bring your legs in together for a second though. Give them a little shimmy. You can do a little windshield wiper action. Just loosen things out a little bit. Whatever your body is telling you you need to do right now, you should do, right? So we're going to do a little bit of a sort of a seated eagle combination pose here, but I'm going to take my right leg. I'll mirror you on this one. So your right leg, if you can sit like this, great. If that's too squishy for you and doesn't feel good, you can just cross at your shins. That's fine too. Okay? But if you can, go into a little bit more of a shoelace. Great. Okay? And then you're going to inhale and let your arms cross. So right now I have my left arm crossing over my right and just holding here like eagle pose arms. Okay? And then give your elbows a little rise. So if that feels completely weird to you and you're not digging it, you're like, Tanya, nope, then here's your alternative that you can try. Just crossing at the shins. And if you don't want to cross your arms in that way, you can just have our Anjali Mudra hands together and just raise them up like this. Okay? That's great too. Just a really nice alternative if you're not feeling this. We're going to sit here for a minute, so do make sure that you are comfortable. Breathing here. Noticing if in the pose you feel a little bit of a, I would call it a softening, I guess, of the legs. That they start to feel like they're gelling together a little bit more. And that sort of weird feeling you may have had when you first got into the pose is dissolving a little bit. One more breath here. And gently unwind and release. Let's stretch those legs out. And again, you can give them a little hinging from the hips, a little windshield wiper, whatever you need. And let's do the other side. So crossing that left leg over the right. And again, this side may feel very different. You may have been able to do this on the other side, and this side is like, nope, that's okay. Just do the shin version, okay? Whatever, you're still getting a great benefit. So whatever feels right for you. It's much better to do something in a different way than you anticipated than to try to do it in a way that's going to actually hurt your body. So whatever works for you is exactly perfect. Okay? Exactly perfect. I think I just made up a new word. All right. From here, we're going to inhale up. Let whichever arm wasn't in front before have front time this time. Or if you're just in Anjali Mudra, that's fine too. We're going to out. And breathing here. Notice if there's a relaxing in the shoulders as you're breathing. I know when I first go into this pose, sometimes I feel like I'm hunching my shoulders up and they're really tense. So I try to notice if as I'm breathing, I've relaxed that feeling a little bit. Nice, steady breath. One more here. And gently release. Ankle roll. Switchy switch. And we are going to go to a standing. So whatever that means for you safely to get there. If you're a person who loves a down dog, you can go ahead and do a down dog. I'm just going to come stand up here and let my head be the very last thing again that comes up. Shoulders down and separated. Let's just take a second here in mountain pose, Tadasana, and just notice how our body feels. We've just done a lot of stretching and movement down there on the floor. So now that we're standing, let's notice how that's feeling for us. So I have my big toes together, but if you want to stand with them apart, please do. It's your comfort level. I have my palms out, but if you'd rather have palms to the side, that's okay too. We're just noting how our body feels from head to toe, basically, as we breathe here. Just noting any sensations you might feel. Noting how nice it actually feels to have that ground underneath your feet. We've been in a seated position for a while. Firm and strong that feels. Notice if your knees are locked. If they feel like they're locked, just give them a little bend. Take note of your heartbeat. And release. Just give a nice little wide step to the side here. We're just going to do some twists. Nice and easy. I have my eye gaze towards the ground. And if you want to deepen your twist a little bit, you can, going a little bit farther around, taking note of that lifted opposite heel. But if you want to stay centered, that's fine too. Just a little stretch. A little unwinding from our floor work. Let's let that stop. Let's do some hip rotation. So I'm just going to take my right leg and step forward, step my left leg back. I'm going to put my right hand on my hip, my left hand on my waist, and just rotate here. So for my friends that this does not work and their hips just do not want to work that way, if you do have a wall nearby, you can just do a nice little stretch here while we do our hip rotations. But if you can do these, go ahead and join us. It doesn't matter how wide you go, you can get nice and big here if you want, or you can keep it a little more tight, a little more in. Tight isn't the right word. A little closer here. Whatever feels good for you. You might have some big kinks to work out here. Or you might not. Let's switch directions. As you're still breathing on the rotation here, make sure that breath isn't being held. A couple more times around, and let's stop. Bring your feet together and let's switch. So my right foot is going back, my left foot is forward, left hand on hip, right hand on waist, and around you go. Not being too picky here on how far apart your feet are. You can go farther if you want. You can bring them closer if you want. You decide. Nice rotation. And again, you can go smaller if you want. And then switch directions. Very nice. Really loosening, awakening. Releasing, all of those things that end in ing. Very nice. One more time around. Ooh, there it is. You hear that? Got that out. Nice. We're gonna do tree pose. We're gonna do one balance pose here today, and then go back down to the mat for a little more breath work. Okay. So for this, if you do need the support of a chair, please go ahead and grab one. I'll grab one and show you. Ta-da, chair. We are going to start with your right foot. So you just want to make sure you're going to lean your weight into your left foot here and just kind of kick forward. And if you're using a chair, just use it here like this. If you're not using a chair, that's fine too. And then you're going to stop the motion. And you can just use your foot here like it's like a little kickstand. If you're using the chair, you can bring it up a little. I just want you to avoid lynching it right here. You don't want to put it right here on your knee joint, right? So you can go up here, or if you want, you can go up a little higher if you're feeling super steady, okay? Your choice. Just please, please, please don't link it right there on your knee joint. So if you're here, or if you're on a kickstand mode, or if you're holding, you can hold here. Nice breath. And really feel that strength coming from your anchored left leg. Shoulders down and separated, you're smiling, your pelvis is engaged, and you can let your foot shift if you want. If you got some slippery tights on like I do, that's fine too. Or if you suddenly need the stabilization of the chair or the wall, that's fine too. But let's just breathe here, nice and steady. Couple more breaths. Very nice. And let's very easily release your hands, release your foot. Give a little walk on the tips of your toes here. Just let everything release. Wiggle it if you want. And let's do the other side. So this time, your right foot stays anchored to the ground, and you can hold if you need to. And just give a little slide back and forth here just to start finding that balance and where that power is in your anchored foot, right? And you want to make sure that your knee has a little bit of a bend to it. We don't want it to be locked in this position. We want it to be strong, but we don't want it to lock up on us. And then you can just hit your foot here like a kickstand again. Choices here. You can go all the way up if you want, or you can just keep it here. Just please don't put it right there. Oh, thank you. Breathing in. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And let's hold here for a few breaths. Great balance pose. And if you start to feel partway through that you need to hold onto the chair, that's no problem. Just go ahead. Whatever works for you. Or if partway through you feel like, I want to try a little higher, go for it. As long as you're not wearing slippery leggings. Doesn't work. Couple more breaths here. Nice. And very slowly, easily release. Give your feet a little walkie action. Up on your tippy toes. Yeah, work that out. Walk on your heels. Very nice. I'm going to move my chair. And we are going to go back down to the floor for the rest of our class here. So I'm just going to take a little swan dive. Inhale up. Exhale all the way forward, fold and bend. Please, for you, please just come down whatever way feels good and safe for you. So from here, let's lower down one vertebrae at a time. Okay. Bring your knees into your chest. And on your next exhale, bring your knees in closer. And then inhale, push them away. Exhale close. Inhale away. Exhale close. Inhale away. Exhale close. Inhale away. Last time, exhale close like this. Inhale away. Exhale, raise your feet. Inhale, bend. Exhale in. Inhale away. Exhale, raise. Inhale, bend. Exhale in. This time there's going to be a little change up. So inhale away. Exhale up. And inhale, hands either down at your sides or in goalpost. And we're going to stay up here. If this is too intense, if this is too much, you can bend your knees a little bit if you want, or just put them back down on the floor. But if you can, this is a really, really great pose. One of my favorites. Just breathing here. One more breath here. And release. Very nice. Bring it in. Let's do some rotations. So just letting the body rotate. Nice gentle action. You can switch the direction. A nice little sacral massage. Very nice. And one more little stretch. And then we'll go into our Shavasana. So, with your feet flat on the floor, right leg up, let your right ankle cross over right behind your knee. And if you want to stay here, you can. If you can engage the leg and bring it up a little bit, go ahead and do that. And how high up you come is not crucial. You can come up just a little bit. You could put a little blanket or something under your foot. Give you a little bit of that boost if you want. Or option 3, if you're feeling it today, you can hook your hands through and relax them here, gently drawing in. And you'll notice how amazing this feels breathing here. Nice and steady. And if your hands are wound through, there's no actual pressure here. And please make sure that you're not putting pressure on your knee. My hands are clasped right on my shin. And I'm just drawing them in a little bit. And I feel a really nice stretch along my right hip and along my entire right leg, actually. Feels amazing. So a couple more breaths here. My neck is in a neutral position. And then exhale, release. Ooh, that feels good. Stretch everybody out there for a second. Do a couple ankle rolls if you want. And then let's bend that right leg. Inhale, left leg up. Let your left ankle cross behind your knee. And again, you can stay here. You can lift. Or you can even come through here. Okay? All beautiful choices. more breaths here. Surrendering to that lovely feeling, that beautiful, beautiful sensation of things just releasing. And then let your feet come to the mat. Let's stretch all the way out, stretching your arms over your head. And just do an entire body stretch here and feel as if you're just gently being stretched from head to toe. Getting that last nice stretch in there. And now we're getting ready for Shavasana. So if you need to have something under your body as we do this, you can. You can throw a little blanket under there, under your knees, whatever you need to feel comfortable. We're just going to lie in an easy way here. Let one hand rest on your abdomen. We're going to breathe in for 4, hold it, and breathe out for 4. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, and release, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, and release, 2, 3, 4. Last time, going to 6 if you can. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold, and release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Letting your body completely surrender to your mat. Feel as if you're settling in. And just mentally give each part of your body permission to relax. Notice each area and any area you feel is still holding tension, holding on to something. Encourage it to release. Just notice the steadiness of your breath here. And when your thoughts start to wander during these quiet moments that we're taking, allow the words I am to be your focus. I am. Just give your body this time to process our practice today. Breathing steadily. Very, very gently begin some movement in your toes, in your hands. Of course, if you feel like you need a few more moments in Shavasana, please take it. And then just remember to close out with a moment of reflection. But if you are with me and releasing our Shavasana now, you can gently rock from side to side, going all the way over if it feels okay for you, or just kind of doing like this if that's okay too. But when you get all the way over to your strongest side, release and hold here for just a moment. one more moment to absorb. And then bring yourself into an easy cross-legged pose. Hands to your heart center, and remind yourself of what your intent was for class. Hold on to that thought for a moment. And I am so thankful you joined me today. Namaste.